All right, thank you very much, Eddie. How's everybody doing out there tonight? I heard a few of you. Are we out there?
I gotta go have a drink. Just hold it.
Anyways, yeah, so my name is Doug, and
You don't have to hold it up that high.
pardon me if my voice is a little bit shaky. The allergies are kind of bothering me lately.
Yeah,
Say it.
Jason did it.
Oh, turn the mic up.
He needs extra
Can you turn the
mic.
mic up?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah, it's pretty loud.
Can you hear me all the way?
Nope, not anymore.
Can
Not
you hear
anymore.
me in the back?
Hey, I gotta get a drink. Would you
All
hold
right.
this for me?
Excellent.
Thank you. I don't need to bother.
Okay, perfect. There we go. There we go. Excellent. All right. Thank you. Anyway, so forgive my voice a little bit if it's a little shaky. Allergies are in season. Yeah, and so anybody out there, anybody else out there deal with allergies? Yes, no? Yeah, yeah. Allergies are kind of, at best they're annoying. At best they're annoying. You know, you get the sniffly nose, the crackly voice, the watery eyes. It's interesting because people will often, you know, especially if your eyes are watering, people come up to you and they put their hand on your shoulder. Hey, are you okay? Is everything all right there? Yes, I'm fine. I'm just dealing with allergies. Thank you. You know, so you get that kind of thing. And then another thing that that you deal with is a lot of sneezing. You know, you deal with a lot of sneezing out there. And one thing about sneezing that always cracks me up a little bit is the faces that people make when they sneeze. I mean, good grief. You know, especially if you haul off with a real big one. You know, your face contorts into this big, crazy, you know, that kind of a thing. You know, and then you let loose with a big, giant noise. And one of the things that I often thought about was, good grief, you know, you put one of those faces on one of those war masks or something like that, you got something there. You know, I certainly would, you know, run the other way if I saw somebody with a war mask like that. I'll tell you what, jeez. Yeah, so anyways, enough about my allergies. One other thing that I find interesting about myself is that, you know, this is another medical thing, is that I have this immunity or resistance to Novocaine. I've been told, you know, the myth about how it's something where, you know, because I'm a redhead, you know, not a big time redhead, but I have enough in it to where the myth is that people who are gingerheads, you know, they have a resistance to it. You know, for example, I was at the dentist once and I was having a tooth worked on. And the doctor comes over and he puts the Novocaine on me and he goes, okay, here we go. Stand and hold still. I've got to pull this tooth out. So the doctor gives it a yank and I let out a yell. And he looks at me and he goes, you felt that? Yes, I felt that. Thank you very much for checking on me. I appreciate that. So he goes, okay, just a minute, let me try again. So puts more Novocaine on me. Waits a minute, and then he goes, okay, let's try this again. Gives it a yank. Once again, I let out a loud yell. And he goes, how did you still feel that? Well, the nurse who was sitting there next to him just kind of taps him on the shoulder and goes, he's a redhead, he's got a resistance. So, the doctor says, all right, I'm going to give you one more try, and let's see what happens. If not, we're just going to have to, you know, have you come back sometime later and knock you out. I said, well, all right. So he tries one more dose. Waits a minute, gives it a yank. I still felt something, but I just resisted I still resisted the idea of yelling. And he goes, did you feel that? And I just looked at him kind of crossly and I said, Doc, will you just pull this thing? Please hurry up. I can only tolerate this so much. There was one other instance that I remember having an interesting encounter with Novocaine. I had just gotten a bunch of teeth pulled. I was in middle school, and I was getting ready to have braces, and so they pulled a bunch of teeth. Well, my mother picked me up and brought me home, and she said, you know, I couldn't open my mouth yet, and she goes, well, do you want me to get you something to drink, you know, like a milkshake or something? So yeah, sure, that sounds fine. So I, sit down and I'm, watching TV and I'm drinking a milkshake and she calls up to me and goes, "How you doing down there?" I said, "Well, I'm fine. I think I'm a little cold though." She goes, "You're cold?" And she comes over to me and takes a look at me. Well, I couldn't use a straw because I couldn't open my mouth, so I just kind of tipped the, milkshake a little bit like this. Well, my face was still really numb from the Novocaine, and apparently more of the milkshake had landed on my chest than it had gone actually down my throat. So that's why I was cold, because I was more wearing my milkshake instead of drinking it. Anyways, enough about the medical side of things. One thing that kind of piques my curiosity is I see all sorts of cell phones and stuff around here nowadays. You got cell phones of all different shapes and sizes and stuff. And I've been around long enough to where I remember some of the first cell phones. The first cell phones that I remember were these big giant bricks that, weighed quite a bit and hardly got any reception. And, as I like to jokingly say, they were more better off as being a weapon than they were being of any other use. Somebody tries to, rob you or something, all you gotta do is swing it, if you got it in a bag or a purse or something, all you do is take a swing and the person is whack. Knock them out, take care of them like that. And one other thing that I also remember is those mini cell phones. Cell phones that are literally this big. Anybody remember those? Yeah? There was one time I knew someone who had one, and they were running all around their house, and they were just going, "I can't find my phone, I can't find my phone." I said, "Well, do you want me to call it? See if we can find it that way?" And they said, "Well, that would be nice, but it's on vibrate." Well, I wish there was more I could do. But anyways, one other cell phone that I saw that's recently becoming popular is the cell phone that it's a smartphone, but you can fold it in half, like a wallet. So I was looking at that and I thought to myself, well, that's great, but what happens when the pixels at the fold line start going out? What happens? You go to take a selfie, and then you go to post it on Facebook or social media or something. And then all of a sudden you start getting comments of people saying, "Nice selfie, what's with the line across your chest?" Creates a line there because of all the pixels that come out. Gosh. Anyway, so when I'm not doing stand-up comedy, I'm in customer service. And one of the things about me that I often tell people is that I jokingly refer to myself as Michael Winslow's apprentice. In other words, I do all sorts of different voices, sounds, that kind of thing. And for example, somebody will, call me up and I'll be trying to troubleshoot something. And for example, I'll pull up my Peter Falk voice and just start going like Columbo. Geez, this case is just absolutely driving me crazy here. And I'm trying to put the pieces in it. Oh gosh, there it is. That's what I was looking for. Oh geez. I'll try to do something like that. Other thing I like to do is I like to sometimes mess with people a little bit. I wish I could do this a lot more often at work, but one of the other voices I can do is Kermit. So sometimes I can't tell you how badly when a call comes in, I want to answer and be like, "Hi, hello, Kermit the Frog here, Sesame Street News." See what they do about that. For the younger generation, it would be more like Stitch, from Lilo and Stitch. Hello, this is Stitch. The Stitch I told you before now. That kind of thing. So anyways, I really wish I could do more stuff like that. One other thing that I'm also known for is I create my own dad jokes. I come up with some of my own, and I was going to give you a couple of those tonight as kind of my finale. So anyways, And some of these are, great for telling the kids. So if you want to try and remember this joke, if you can tell, if you know a kid or something, you can tell them this joke. For example, here's one: is what do you call two horses standing next to each other? The answer: neighbors. I know, terrible, isn't it? Here's a different one that I wrote up. It's quite wrong, but still it's a little more interesting. So, a survivalist was being interviewed there about some of the survival tactics that they used and some of the certain instances in which they used it. So one story that came up was about how they had escaped from being caught in a quicksand trap. So after explaining a couple of things in the interview, stopped the survivalist and said, wait a minute. Quicksand? Good grief. That must have been scary as could be. Did you panic before you figured out what you were going to do? And the survivalist said, no, I just had a sinking feeling I was in big trouble. Anyways, all right. Well, thank you all very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening, and thank you again. Appreciate it.
Doug McDonald. Shit, that's loud. Just bring the mic away. Another round of applause for Doug.